Hey YouTube, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here is my review for UFC 136 Edgar versus Maynard 3. Alright guys, yes, I know I haven't done a review in the longest time. Hopefully I can get to it soon, but I do have some announcements to make. Number one, I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but I am in this MMA predictions race with a lot of the MMA Predictors on YouTube. So please check out their channels in the description below if you want more details on that shit. A lot of them have already talked about it, so if you guys already do watch some of those guys, then yes, you probably are aware of that MMA predictions race. I'll also post the results of what we have so far in the description below as well. And right now I'm currently leading with my dude Surfer Ken. So hopefully I retain that lead and no one else comes close to me. So yeah, hopefully I get up to 200 wins. And if I do, then everyone in that race has to buy me an MMA t-shirt. So just saying, would be nice. Please support all of us. And yeah, just check out everyone else's picks. They're great guys. And yeah, I support them myself. And if you support me, please support them. And another thing, my other announcement, of course, that is, of course, a Florian walkout t-shirt, and that's what he used against Diego Nunes. And I put it up for grabs for this event. And basically, if you watch my predictions, all you had to do was be subscribed to win that, as well as pick the right outcome for the co-main event with Jose Aldo and Florian. Of course, Florian lost by unanimous decision, and if you picked Jose Aldo by UD, you were eligible to win that. If you were subscribed as well, 3 people were eligible to win. My dude smiling in the third was the random person picked to win that shirt. So big ups to him. To the guys who were eligible, thanks for participating. Better luck next time. And yeah, better luck next time to all of you guys who choose to participate in my future contests. Next one should be for UFC 137, so stay tuned for that. But again, congratulations to my dude smiling in the third for winning that t-shirt. Alrighty, YouTube. Well, finally, here we go. Let's start off with this review. Let's start off with Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stephens. The first bout on the Spike card. I'll quickly touch upon, the Facebook card soon, but I want to focus most of my insight to the bouts that matter most from, the Spike TV card up. So let's start with Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stephens. I thought Anthony Pettis would outstrike Jeremy Stephens, profusely over the course of 3 rounds. I thought he was going to win 30-27, just being the better technical striker. Connecting flush on Jeremy Stephens with combinations, utilizing leg kicks, keeping the distance, and just not allow Jeremy Stephens to land a lot of power shots like he's accustomed to doing. Of course, Anthony Pettis did not do that. Anthony Pettis, pretty much looked well-rounded there. Was able to take Jeremy Stephens down, a few times. Displayed pretty good top control. And just went Division 1 on his ass. Of course, that training with Ben Askren at Rufus4 is paying off in terms of the wrestling aspect. And for the most part, his defensive wrestling looked good as well. Of course, Jeremy Stephens took him down at times too, and he's displayed pretty good defense and was able to stand back up as well. Yeah, what can I say? Pettis, definitely improving as a fighter, and very, very well-rounded is if he's able to impose, wrestling against future opponents. Jeremy Stephens does have a wrestling background, and for the most part, I thought would be able to stuff Anthony Pettis takedowns if I thought Anthony Pettis was going to take that route. Clearly Stephens wasn't, ready for that kind of Anthony Pettis, and probably didn't train much wrestling in his training camp. And, it clearly showed because Anthony Pettis out-wrestled someone for once. So, out-wrestled someone offensively. That's pretty much how he won that fight. That and superior top control and outstriking Jeremy Stephens when it was on defeat. Good win for Anthony Pettis. Who would you give him next? I'd like to see him versus Joe Lauzon. I think that would be a pretty dope fight. And I think it's kind of relevant too. So I think that bout makes a lot of sense considering, of course, Joe Lauzon winning over Guillard. I'll get to that soon enough. Damian Maia versus George Santiago. Next bout I'm taking a look at. Of course, middleweight bout in the Spike card. Damian Maia, bona fide top 10 middleweight. versus George Santiago, pretty much the top guy outside the UFC until he came in, and has been nothing short of lackluster. George Santiago got knocked out versus Brian Stann. A lot of people figured that was going to happen. It's whatever. What can I say? But Damian Maia, a test to see if he's really top 10 still. Clearly not. He got Division 1'd by Damian Maia, who, really hasn't, who's really struggled with his wrestling out of anything. For the most part, he got out-wrestled by Mark Munoz. That's obvious. But, he's, displayed superior striking, in his bout against Munoz, and for the most part outstruck the dude. And I thought if he was going to take Santiago down, which I thought he was going to do, I didn't think he was going to be able to just successfully get, single leg takedowns off. I thought he would set up his takedowns with striking. No. He didn't have to. He just straight up took Santiago down. Santiago just looked like shit, to be honest. And he looked like outside the top 15 shit. What can I say? Maia, he's an incredible fighter. Of course, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. Definitely one of the best in the middleweight division. Him and Jacare for sure. But Santiago, dude's got to work on some things. I really don't know who you give him next or if you cut him. We'll see. They probably give him another shot. Him versus, a Kyle Noak would make sense. As for Damian Maia, who do you give him? I don't know who you give him. Good question. Rematch versus Chael Sonnen would be nice. I'm not a Chael Sonnen supporter, but I will say I think he deserved the submission of the night. Just saying. But speaking of submission tonight, let's move on to the next bout between Joe Lauzon and Melvin Guillard in lightweight. Melvin Guillard, damn, if I was betting, man, which I am, Melvin Guillard was a diamond pick. And, of course, my diamond got busted. I did not bet on that fight. Thank God. Joe Lauzon, if he was going to win, at all, it would be early, most likely by rear naked choke. That's what happened. He won in less than a minute. Good win for Joe Lauzon. Joe Lauzon, who do you give him now? Again, like I said, I want to see him versus Anthony Pettis. It would be a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Guillard go at Stevens. Again, I'm pretty sure they fought before. But I wouldn't mind that fight either. But Guillard has to work on some things. Number one, your ground game's never going to mature, ever. Just work on staying on the feet and not getting rocked by Joe Lauzon. That was atrocious. What can I say? You would have been able to employ a sprawl and brawl game plan if you did not get rocked by Joe Lauzon. I really believe Joe Lauzon's right when he said that Guillard underestimated him. Guillard clearly underestimated his striking. I thought Gillard's head was at the right place when he made the move to Jackson submission fighting. Clearly, he still has, ego issues to work out. Joe Lauzon's for real. The guy has 8 fight bonuses now, I believe. He's not a joke at lightweight. Joe Lauzon's a very good fighter. That was very much a winnable fight for him. Despite what, me and a lot of people thought about Melvin Guillard winning. I never counted Joe Lauzon out. I thought Joe Lauzon, if he was going to win by early submission. That's what happened. Definitely didn't count him out. And, what can I say? Guillard just goofed. I really think that if they were to fight again, I think Guillard wins. If he had his head in the right place and was able to employ the game plan we thought he would have employed. But he didn't. So what can we say? Again, I'd like to see him against Stevens. Next fight, Leonard Garcia, Namfan. Namfan pretty much outstruck Leonard Garcia the way he did in their first fight. Better technical striking, although Leonard Garcia was clearly more active, pretty much why he got the first fight. Namfan also took Garcia down twice, I believe. I think that's why he iced rounds 1 and 2, or those takedowns. Round 3 you can give to Leonard Garcia. Based on hyper-aggressiveness, Namfan wasn't as technical with his strikes round 3, and, wasn't throwing as much. So I guess you can give Garcia that round, for sure. Garcia, though, still wings his punches, still has some things to work on, and since it's Leonard Garcia, you expect him not to work on those things. Leonard Garcia hasn't had a legitimate win in 4 or 5 years. They've all been split Ds wins for him, and to be honest, I don't think he won any of them. And I really don't like his attitude when he says he actually thought he won those fights. You know, if you had non-fucky judges, you did not win those fights. If you won the first Nam Fan fight, you won this one too. Just saying. Nam Fan, I thought, clearly won, and he did. So nice 29-28 win for Nam Fan. I thought he'd win like that. Big ups to Nam Fan. Next up, Chael Sonnen and Brian Stann. Oh, you Zuffa zombies have to get off that Brian Stann train. Just because Brian Stann's a nice guy, just because he's part of the Marine Corps, just because he's, you know, overall likable, doesn't mean he's going to beat the number 2 in the world in Chael Sonnen. You know, Brian Stann, you know, people are like, oh, he's improved in his wrestling and he's going to defend takedowns and work for a TKO. Chael Sonnen's takedowns haven't been stuffed. Brian Stann, with no wrestling background, all of a sudden picks up, you know, wrestling defense and is able to do that? Give me a break. Hell no. Chael Sonnen is one of the best MMA wrestlers, period. And definitely the best in middleweight. He's going to take Brian Stann down. It's just a matter of, you know, time if Brian Stann submits him from guard or not. Clearly he didn't and got submitted himself. Chael Sonnen pulled Josh Barnett with that arm triangle choke. Good win for Chael Sonnen. Him versus Anderson Silva. I still think he loses that fight just because I think Anderson's going to be a little bit more craftier on the ground this time. He did pick up the win the last time, but, you know, I think if Chael Sonnen's testosterone levels are down and that Anderson Silva's ribs aren't bruised, I think Anderson Silva poses more of a threat. We'll see. Should be a fun fight. I am picking Anderson in that fight if and when that does happen. But nice win for Chael Sonnen. Again, I thought he got robbed of submission of the night. Just my opinion. Next up, Jose Aldo, Kenny Florian. Jose Aldo pretty much beat Kenny Florian everywhere. Kenny Florian looked good in round 1. Couldn't set the pace for the rest of the fight. And it's just Jose Aldo's a better fighter. What can I say? You know, not many people were picking Kenny Florian. And to the people that were, I was astonished. Kenny Florian is not good enough in the areas that he needs to beat Jose Aldo at. He really isn't. You know, whatever Kenny Florian's good at, he's not going to be able to, you know, impose his will on Jose Aldo long enough to take a decision or to take a finish. It's just not going to happen. Kind of like BJ Penn. You know, BJ Penn's pretty much better than Florian everywhere. In this case, Jose Aldo, you know, his ground game is on par with Kenny's, I think. And Jose Aldo's striking is definitely better than Kenny's. And Kenny's pretty much a striker lately. And Jose Aldo is just going to beat him at his best strength. And that's what happened. Jose Aldo was also, you know, getting the grappling advantage as well. You know, 49-46 for all 3 judges. Aldo over Florian makes a lot of sense. You know, big ups to anyone who picked Jose Aldo overwhelmingly. I know I did. What can I say? Nice win for Aldo. Who's next? Chad Mendes. Very, very, very winnable fight for him there. Just my opinion, due to his takedown defense and Chad Mendes, you know, inability to be a good striker. So, you know, Chad Mendes, decent striker. Aldo, amazing striker. Aldo should beat the shit out of him with leg kicks and stuff. So that's probably who he gets next. Kenny Florian, what's next for him? Hopefully a return lightweight. That's just what I'd rather see him at. I think he's more comfortable there. And I think he gets wrestle-fucked by a lot of these team alpha male guys. So, and I think he gets beat by Jose Aldo in a rematch. So I don't think featherweight makes a lot of sense. I think he should return to lightweight. Just my opinion. Next up, Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard in the main event. Lightweight title on the line, of course. Frankie Edgar retained in their second fight in that draw. In a fight that I thought he won, 48-46, the way he saw it. And, you know, of course, it ended up being a draw. Gray Maynard had a monster 10-8 round in that second fight. And he did again in the third fight. You know, monster 10-8 round. Frankie Edgar's face was a mess after round 1. But luckily he was able to set the pace of the fight come round 2 throughout the rest of the fight up until he finished him in round 4 with that beautiful uppercut, I believe, and just finished him up with punches and just won a TKO basically midpoint in round 4, you know, past midway point, I think. And just a nice, beautiful win for Frankie Edgar. He hasn't been finishing dudes, and to finish one of the toughest guys in the world in Gray Maynard, just nothing short of amazing after surviving another first-round scare. Gray Maynard, I really didn't think would be hurt by anything. Frankie Edgar would throw at him. I was wrong. Frankie proved me wrong again, although I did pick him. I picked him by UD. I thought he was going to win, again, like 48-46, but damn, he finished Gray Maynard. No one's ever finished Gray Maynard by TKO or KO ever, and for Frankie Edgar to do that, big ups to him. I didn't think he had that power in him, and he did. He just connected, luckily very flush, and looked like he had a lot of power. For the most part, he's not going to connect like that all the time, but who knows, maybe he does. We'll see. Again, he doesn't cease to amaze me. So, big ups for Frankie Edgar and picking up the only TKO of the night, thus getting him knocked out of the night. So, big ups to Frankie Edgar. Who does he get next? Who knows? Winner of Henderson Guida if Melendez doesn't jump ship. We'll see. Gray Maynard, who does he get? I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Guillard Maynard. That would be pretty fun. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, nice win for Frankie Edgar. Really proud of that guy. Alright, YouTube. Well, there it is. That about does it for my picks. Not my picks, my review for UFC 136 Edgar vs. Maynard. Stay tuned for my 137 picks. I will have a contest up for that. Should be fun. I really like that card. Hatsu Yoki's making his debut, one of my favorite fighters, so hopefully he wins that bout. I am picking him over Roop, so there's a preview into my pick show for that event. So stay tuned for that. Again, a contest is up for it. Again, check out the links in the description below, and of course the links to the people in the prediction race and the results are also in the description below too. So again, thank you for all the support, guys, and I guess I'll see you soon. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if not. Thanks again, and take care.